You think hacking is about stealing passwords, stealing data, stealing money? You think code lives inside computers? That nothing it does spills out into the real world. In June 2010, a quiet engineer in Belarus discovered something that broke that idea forever. A 500 kilobyte file about the size of one phone photo. That file had just physically destroyed a building's worth of nuclear hardware halfway around the world. This is the story of how code became a weapon of war, and how we found out. To understand Stuxnet, you need to understand the room nobody wanted to be in. It's 2009. Iran has been building a nuclear enrichment facility called Natanz. It's underground, hardened against airstrikes, 5,000 centrifuges, spinning uranium gas at 63,000 rotations per minute. Israel believes Iran is 1 to 2 years from a working bomb. Israeli leaders are not bluffing. They are preparing to strike. President George W. Bush, in his last year, has a problem. If Israel bombs Iran, Iran retaliates. Oil prices double. Possibly war. Definitely chaos. Bush is briefed on a third option. Not bombs. Not diplomacy. Code. It's called Operation Olympic Games. The plan: build a piece of software so precise it can sabotage Iran's centrifuges from inside the air-gapped facility. Make it look like equipment failure. Buy time. Avoid war. Bush approves it in 2006. He passes the briefcase to Obama in 2009 and says, in effect, continue this. The alternative is worse. In a windowless room in the NSA building at Fort Meade, Maryland, and in a parallel office in Israel's Unit 8200, engineers are writing code that has never existed before. They're writing the first cyberweapon in human history. Let's talk about what they built. Because this matters. Most malware is small, crude, a few hundred lines of code. Maybe one zero-day exploit, if it's serious. Stuxnet had 4 0 days. 4. Each one worth $100,000 to $500,000 on the black market. The exploits alone cost more than most movies. The code itself was 4,000 functions. Object-oriented. Modular. Comments in clean English. Some researchers said it looked like Microsoft wrote it. The polish was that high. But the genius wasn't in the code. The genius was in what it targeted. Stuxnet ignored every computer that wasn't running specific Siemens industrial controllers. The exact controllers running Iranian centrifuges. The exact configuration. 6 cascades of 164 centrifuges. That layout matched a leaked photo of Natanz so precisely it could only have come from inside. When Stuxnet found the right machine, it did something almost beautiful and almost evil. It recorded normal sensor readings for 30 days, made a perfect baseline. Then it played those readings back to the operators in the control room, while it commanded the centrifuges to spin themselves to death. Frequency, 1,410 hertz, above the safe limit, for 15 minutes, then dropped to 2 hertz, almost stopped, then back to normal, then up to 1,064 hertz. Random, catastrophic, repeating. The operators saw green lights. The centrifuges in the basement were tearing themselves apart. Natanz was air-gapped. No internet, no external network. To get Stuxnet inside, the operation needed something low-tech and old-fashioned, a USB stick. We don't know exactly how it got in. The leading theory, an Iranian contractor, a supplier of equipment, had Stuxnet planted on their systems first. They brought a maintenance laptop into Natanz. They plugged in. Stuxnet jumped. Once inside, Stuxnet was patient. It waited. It mapped the network. It identified the exact PLC running the centrifuge cascades. And then, slowly, over months, it began. In late 2009 and early 2010, IAEA inspectors at Natanz noticed something strange. Iranian engineers were replacing centrifuges at an unusual rate. Hundreds of them, then thousands. The Iranians blamed manufacturing defects, quality control, bad batches from suppliers. They fired engineers. They replaced perfectly good machines. They had no idea they were under attack. The operation had worked. By the time anyone realized something was wrong, about 1,000 centrifuges out of 5,000 had been physically destroyed. The Israeli airstrike was no longer needed. Iran's program was set back by years. Operation Olympic Games was, in pure operational terms, a success. There was just one problem. The worm escaped. Stuxnet was designed to stay inside Natanz. It would only attack specific Siemens PLCs. To everything else, it was harmless. Invisible. But invisible doesn't mean non-existent. Every computer it touched, it left a copy. Sometime in 2010, an Iranian engineer or contractor, we still don't know exactly who, took a USB stick from a Natanz workstation, plugged it into a personal laptop or a contractor's office machine, connected to the internet. Stuxnet spilled out. Within weeks, it had infected over 200,000 computers in 155 countries. India, Indonesia, the United States itself, none of them mattered. To 99% of the infected machines, Stuxnet did absolutely nothing. It was looking for one thing, Siemens centrifuges in a specific configuration, but it was out there. In the wild, researchers were going to find it, and the world was about to learn that warfare had changed. June 17, 2010, Minsk, Belarus. Sergey Ulasen, head of antivirus research, at a small company called Virus Blockade, opens his email. There's a message from a customer, an Iranian customer. Their computer keeps rebooting, over and over. They can't make it stop. This kind of thing happens, probably some normal malware. Sergey starts investigating with his colleague Oleg Kupriv. They find something they've never seen before. The malware uses a vulnerability in Windows that nobody has reported. A 0-day. That's already unusual. Then they realize it's using 4 0 days. That stops them cold. 4 0 days means somebody spent millions of dollars on this. Nobody spends millions of dollars to attack one Iranian customer in a reboot loop. Something much bigger is happening. On July 12th, Sergey key post technical note to a security forum. He doesn't go to the press. He just describes what he found. A blogger named Brian Krebs picks it up. The story spreads. By August, Symantec has a team on it. Eric Sheehan, Liam O. Murchu, Nicholas Falliere, 3 of the best malware analysts in the world. They spend 3 months, 12 hours a day, reverse engineering, and in September, they realize the truth. The code is targeting 6 cascades of 164 centrifuges. That's not a generic industrial system. That's a specific plant. A German consultant named Ralph Langner, who works with industrial controllers his whole career, is the one who says it out loud. This is targeting Iran, specifically Natanz, specifically their nuclear centrifuges. The world stopped. For 2 years, governments denied it. The United States said nothing. Israel said nothing. Iran called it foreign interference, but couldn't prove who. Speculation filled news pages. Then, in June 2012, David Sanger of the New York Times published an article that changed everything. His sources, all anonymous, all with knowledge of the operation, told him this. Stuxnet was code-named Operation Olympic Games. It was conceived under President Bush in 2006. President Obama was briefed on it shortly after taking office. In one Situation Room meeting, Sanger reports, Obama paused before authorizing a major escalation. He asked his advisors, "Should we go ahead with this?" The room hesitated. Obama said yes. The same week the article ran, Sanger published a book called Confront and Conceal. It went deeper. It named names. It described the operation in detail. The U.S. government did not deny the story. They never confirmed it. But everyone, every government, every intelligence service, every defense contractor on Earth now knew. The world's first cyberweapon was real. The Americans built it. The Israelis helped. It worked. And the era of digital warfare had officially begun. Ralph Langner, the German engineer who first said Stuxnet targeted Natanz, said something later that I think about often. He said, it could be considered a textbook example of a just war approach. It didn't kill anyone. That's a good thing. Then he paused and said, but I am afraid this is only a short-term view. In the long run, it has opened Pandora's box. He was right. In 2012, Iran built its own offensive cyber team. They unleashed Shamoon, wiped 30,000 computers at Saudi Aramco in a single day. In 2015 and 2016, Russian hackers took down parts of the Ukrainian power grid in winter. Cold homes, dark hospitals, the first cyber attack to physically affect civilians at scale. In 2021, the Colonial Pipeline shut down. Gas shortages on the East Coast. A small ransomware crew did it. In 2025, the U.S. House Homeland Security Committee held a hearing called Stuxnet 15 Years Later. The reference case. Still the model. Every cyber weapon since 2010 stands on Stuxnet's shoulders. The genie is out. It cannot go back in. The 500-kilobyte file that Sergey Ulasen pulled apart in his Minsk office in June 2010 wasn't just a worm. It was proof of concept, proof that code could cross from the digital world into the physical world, proof that you didn't need bombs to destroy infrastructure anymore. It worked once, so now everyone is building one. Sergey Ulasen wasn't a spy. He wasn't a soldier. He was a guy doing his job on a Thursday morning in June. He read an email about a rebooting computer. 10 minutes later, he was sitting in front of the most sophisticated cyber weapon ever built. A few weeks after that, he had handed humanity a mirror. We were now in the era of digital warfare. There was no going back. So, here's what I think about as a developer. We write code every day. We push to production. We deploy to servers we'll never touch. Our code runs on machines in countries we'll never visit. It controls things we can't see. How sure are you of what your dependencies do? How sure are you of what your code can reach? Because the day Stuxnet was discovered, every developer on Earth got a quiet promotion. We were no longer just building features. We were building infrastructure, and infrastructure can be a weapon. That truth has only gotten heavier since 2010, December 9th, 2021. A Minecraft player on a multiplayer server types a single message in chat. The message contains 9 characters, $, curly brace, JNDI, : that's it. Within minutes, the Minecraft server is compromised. Within hours, the same string brings down corporate networks across the planet. Cloudflare, Apple, Amazon, Tesla, Steam, Tencent. It's not malware. It's not a worm. It's a single string in a logging library that hundreds of millions of devices quietly use. It's called log4shell, and it makes